In this video, we're going to talk about the autosave feature and narrowing the search to see only your stories that you're currently working on. So I mentioned in the video about creating stories is the best practices is to save often. The other best practice is to always save and close when you are done for the day or when an editor is taking it, or anytime you're not working in the CMS, to just save and close. Always from here, don't just close your browser, but actually close the story itself. Make sure you're not just closing this. So here, but I am going to show you in the case where your computer crashed or you lost internet access or something to that effect, autosave can really be helpful for you. And so I'm going to show you the case where you would want to use that and what that would mean. So I'm going to say this is a change that will alter. So I'm going to not save this actually, and then pretend like my browser crashed, my computer crashed, and I lost access here. So then I'm just going to open my blocks again, and it's as soon as I go back into editorial assets that I will see this restore asset drafts. You have unsaved drafts of one or more assets. Now in this case we're acting like my computer crashed and I want to recover what I had written since my last save. So in this case I'm going to open this and I should see my change that created that autosave. I'm going to hit save there, and that becomes my story, and it has written over the last version. This is the story. So that is totally fine when it is only you working on the story itself. If there is a case where you forgot to close your story and your editor unlocked it and took it from you, and it is moved on in the process, either it's in icedesk or it is published on the site, you've seen it published, and a couple days later, if you were to get this box again, I'm going to show you the box to come up again. So in this case, when I see that box and I go to editorial assets, then I know that it was live on the site and it has been through the copy desk and my editor, and I do not want this version that I wrote because it's been changed a lot since then. So I'm going to click on it and say discard, and that will go away and I don't need it anymore. So the difference is that if I were to open that story and save it at that point, it would overwrite all of the edits that came after me. So if a lot of times that means that it unpublishes from the site or undoes a lot of edits made by either your editor or the copy desk. So best practice, always save and close so no one is ever having to unlock you from a story. But if you ever get that box when you know the story is already moved on, already been edited, already been published, discard it and move on. Do not open it and restore it. So that is best practice on autosave. So be careful of that one. Another thing is, the default here is to have all these assets. We have almost 300,000 assets at this point. So the best practice is the best way to just kind of see what you are working on in the moment is to actually set up a save search. So you should see one that says shared by Stevens Eliz, and if you expand that out, you should see one that says reporters click here. And if you double click this search, and then you went into down here to author and searched for yourself. So I'm going to find myself here. So Stevens, and there I am, Elizabeth Stevens. And I'm going to select myself as a user. I'm going to run this search again. And so these are my stories that are in work in progress. So that is kind of the editor or the reporter level where you work. That's the workflow that you are working in. So I am going to save this search. So I come over back to my save searches in this sidebar here, hit the plus sign, say this is my articles, for examples, or whatever you want it to be. I think Yeah, more than one thing named My Articles. Don't worry about sharing the search, just save changes. And then you should see that pop up. To make that your default search so that every time you come into editorial assets, you select it here and then select the star. And so then anytime, so if I went back to this, anytime I logged in and went to editorial assets, I could see just the stories that I am working on in the moment. It will not show you your published stories. It will just show you those that have not gone to edit. If you need to search more broadly, find a different story, look for something different, you can always reset your search and search everything at that point. So that is autosave and search. A reminder on autosave, the rules here, if you were the last person editing it and you lost changes, reopen the autosave version and you can keep working. If the story was moved to another workflow or was published on the site, delete the autosave version. Do not open it and save it. Thank you.